Okay, so good morning, good afternoon, or good evening kung anong oras nyo man napapanood itong lecture video natin regarding law on sales. So, take note that our lecture and this material is a compressed version of your law on sales. So, if you think you need more comprehensive discussion, you may just read your books, okay? But as far as I'm concerned, I think I have included already the salient points that you need to remember as far as the table of specifications of law on sale is concerned, okay, for purposes of your CIPALI board exam. Okay, so without further ado, let us start with the definition of sale under our Civil Code Article 1458 as well as Article 1470. So as we can see here, by the contract of sale, one of the contracting parties daw will obligate himself to transfer first the ownership and then to deliver the determinate thing and the other party, which is the vendee or the buyer, to pay therefore a price certain in money or its equivalent. So, sa definition pa lang, makikita na natin kung ano yung mga essential elements ng contract of sale. So, yung isang party daw, which is the seller, inoobliga daw niya ang kanyang sarili na mag-transfer ng ownership and later on to deliver the same. So these are the obligation of the seller as far as the definition under Article 1458 is concerned. And on the other hand, okay, the buyer or the vendee is obligated naman to pay a so-called price certain. Okay? So merong determinate thing na i-deliver kay buyer at itong si buyer magbabayad ng tinatawag na price certain. Later on, we will define what do we mean by determinate thing as well as price certain. Okay? So according to one case, okay, the following are the essential elements of a valid contract of sale. So we have here the consent. Of course, you have learned that in your contracts. The object, here in sale, we will call it as determinate subject matter. Okay? So later on, titignan din natin kung ano ibig sabihin ng determinate. Paano natin masasabi na yung object ay determinate? Kasi kailangan determinate yung object para magkaroon ng object. Because if there is no object, okay, definitely the contract is void. There's no sale to speak of, okay? And third, of course, is the price certain in money or its equivalent, okay? Next, we have the following natural elements of a contract of sale. So, dalawa lang naman, warranty against eviction and warranty against hidden defects. They are called natural elements because even without the parties stipulating these two, or even if the parties are not aware that these two exist, okay, naturally, whenever parties will enter into a contract of sale, automatic, meron tayong warranty against eviction and warranty against hidden defects. Okay? Aside from natural elements, we also have accidental elements of a contract of sale. Ito na yung mga terms, stipulations, conditions na pwedeng meron, pwedeng wala. That's why they are called accidental elements. Okay? Now let's go to the characteristics of a contract of sale. So we have this six characteristics of a contract of sale. So I have here my mnemonics, P Bacon with the double C. So, that stands for consensual because a contract of sale is perfected by mere consent. Okay? There is no requirement under the law that for a sale to be valid, it must be in writing. Okay? Kasi ang contract of sale ay isang consensual na kontrata, hindi siya formal contract. Okay? It is a principal contract. It can stand on its own. It's a bilateral contract, meaning to say the contracting parties will give and take. It is onerous, meaning to say for whatever a party will give, okay, the other party must receive. Okay, so may kapalit, that's why it's called onerous. Commutative, meaning to say kung magkano yung value or kung ano yung value ng ibinigay ng isang party, yun din dapat ang value or at least the same. Okay, not exactly the same but at least within the range yung ibibigay naman nung kabila. Okay, hindi pwedeng sobrang taas ng isa tapos yung kabila sobrang baba yung value ng ibibigay. So, when we talk about commutative, halos pareho yung value ng ibibigay ng buyer at ng seller natin. And of course, it's nominate because it has a name under the law. Okay, we have read kanina sa Article 1458 that this contract is called sale. That's why it's called nominate contract. Okay? Now let's go to the phases of sales contract. We have three, no? Just like a typical contract. So we have preparation, perfection, and the consummation. Preparation, ito yung nag-uusap pa lang yung parties. Perfection, ito na yung may meeting of the minds as to the terms, as to the price, as to the object. And number three, consummation or death of the contract, meaning to say na i-deliver na i-transfer na yung ownership, nakapagbayad na ng price certain. Okay? Let's try to understand other kinds of contracts, and let's distinguish it with contract of sale. So, in contrast with donation, sale is onerous, donation is gratuitous. Sale is perfected by mere consent kasi one of the characteristic of sale is that it is consensual. Donation, hindi consensual ang donation. Although some kinds of donation consensual siya, but some, okay? There are certain kinds of donation that has to be in a private instrument, has to be in writing, has to be notarized, or has to be in a public instrument, okay? Like for example, if you will donate a parcel of land, automatic dapat in public instrument siya. So kapag hindi in public instrument, yung donation of a parcel of land, kahit 1 square meter pa yan, it is void. But if it's a sale of a parcel of land, okay, for validity purposes, consensual lang siya. Okay? Nagkakaroon lang ng relevance yung written instrument pag sale ng real property, not for the purpose of validity, but for the purpose of convenience. Okay? As well as enforceability. Okay? You have learned that in your law on contracts. Okay? In contrast naman with barter, so sale, the consideration is price in money or its equivalent. In barter, the consideration is another thing. Okay, you already know this. Okay. In addition with the comparison or the comparison between sale and barter, take note that barter is a contract where one of the parties binds himself to give one thing in consideration of others' promise to give also another thing. So it's completely different from contract of sale or a sale, di ba? Kasi kanina sa contract of sale, one contracting party obligates himself to transfer the ownership of determinate property and to deliver the same, and on the other hand, the other party will pay a so-called price certain. Pero dito sa barter, thing versus another thing, they will have an exchange. Now, the concept of barter is going to be relevant vis-a-vis the concept of sale when it comes to Article 1468. Kasi minsan, ang agreement nagiging malabo, hindi malinaw, ganyan. Okay? So, sometimes, the question will arise like, is it a sale then or is it a barter? So, we just go on with Article 1468, okay? Which tells that if consideration consists partly in money and partly in another thing, we will look first on the intention. We will not look agad-agad dun sa value kung anong mas malaki. We will first look on the intention of the parties. And the intention of the parties will determine whether or not the contract they have entered into is one of a sale or one of a barter. Now, if the intention is also not clear, that's the only time that we will look kung anong mas malaki, yung binigay na money or yung binigay na object. Okay? So first, intention. Second, the value. Okay? So take note of that. Next, contract for a piece of work. So for sale, goods are manufactured or procured in the ordinary course of business. So talagang binibenta nila yon. Okay, inaangkat nila, sinusupply nila, yun yung nasa menu nila, kunwari, okay? But for a contract for a piece of work, goods are manufactured for customer upon his special order. Kunwari, nagpa-custom made ka ng gown or magbe-birthday ka, gusto mong kumain sa isang restaurant pero hindi naman talaga sila gumagawa ng grahams pero nagpagawa ka sa kanila ng grahams. So that's an example of contract for a piece of work. Next, sale for the general market, whether on hand or not, binibenta sa kahit sino na magiging customer. But for a contract for a piece of work, it's only for a specific customer. For sale, the contract of sale of a movable whose price is 500 or more is governed by the statute of frauds. Okay? While in a contract for a piece of work, even if the amount is less than 500 or more than 500, it is not governed by the statute of frauds. Okay? So let me just give you a clarification regarding the statute of frauds, although this is also part of your law on contracts. Okay? Sa statute of frauds kasi, tandaan nyo lang na may mga certain contract na dapat in writing daw para maging enforceable. Okay? So, isa sa mga kontrata na dapat in writing, hindi para maging valid para maging enforceable, is yung sale of movable na ang value niya ay more than 500 pesos. Okay? Or 500 pesos or more. So, if it's a contract of sale and the value is 500 pesos or more, if it's made in writing, the contract is valid and enforceable. If it's not made in writing, it's valid but it is unenforceable. You get the point. But in a contract for a piece of work, take note that even if the contract is not made in writing, it is automatically valid and enforceable. Because in a contract for a piece of work, hindi mag-apply ang statute of frauds natin. Kasi nga, diba, special order naman to. Okay, bakit kailangan pang maging in writing para maging enforceable? When in fact, in the first place, nagpagawa siya ng specific order, kunwari, nagpa-custom made siya ng gown, diba? Na hindi naman natin talaga binibenta, wala sa inventaryo natin. So, even if that contract is not made in writing, it's already valid and enforceable because it's not a contract of sale, it's a contract for a piece of work. And under the law, pag contract for a piece of work, statute of frauds does not apply because statute of frauds applies only to contract of sale. Okay, so I hope we're clear with that. Okay, we have here a case of sabi dito, when each product or system executed is always unique. Okay, always unique and could not be mass produced, then it's a contract for a piece of work. Okay? Yan. It's a distinction of contract of sale versus contract for a piece of work. Next is the Shonin Pago. You're familiar with this one. Sale, there's no pre-existing debt, but in the Shonin Pago, nagbabayad ka nga ng utang through the Shon. That's why there is a pre-existing debt. In a sale, it creates an obligation. In the Shonin Pago, it extinguishes the obligation because the Shonin Pago is a mode of payment. In sale, price is more freely agreed upon and fixed by the parties. In the Shonin Pago, you don't talk about the price because your aim in the Shonin Pago is just to extinguish an existing obligation. Sale versus payment by session. Okay, in sale, there is no pre-existing credit. In payment by session, there are pre-existing credits. In sale, it creates an obligation. In payment by session, it extinguishes the obligation as well, parang si the Shonin Pago. In sale, the cost or consideration from the point of view of the seller is the price. Bakit siya nagbebenta? Gusto niya ng price. Sa point of view naman ng buyer, bakit siya bumibili at nagbabayad? Dahil gusto niyang mai-deliver sa kanya yung property. Sa payment of session, iba. Ang cost of or consideration on the point of view of the debtor is makapagbayad, ma-extinguish yung kanyang obligation. But on the point of view of the creditor is that ma-assign sa kanya yung properties. Okay? So in sale, there is also a greater freedom in fixing the price. In session, wala kasi magbabayad ka lang din naman ng utang. In sale, ownership is transferred to the buyer. In payment by session, hindi matatransfer sa buyer yung ownership. Okay, ma-assign lang yung property sa buyer, the property to the creditor at magkakaroon lang ng karapatan yung creditor na ibenta ito. But ownership is not transferred by means of delivery. Take note of that. In sale, general rule, if there's delivery, there will be transfer of ownership. In payment by session, even if the thing is delivered to you, you don't own the property, but you only obtain a right to sell it. Okay, and apply the proceeds later on to the obligations of the debtor. Sale versus contract to sell. In sale, ownership is transferred upon delivery. In contract to sell, ownership is only transferred upon full payment of price. Okay? So, in a contract to sell kasi, this is an exception, okay, to the general rule that once there is delivery, there is transfer of ownership, okay? In a contract to sell, even if there is delivery, there is no transfer of ownership because the transfer of ownership is not dependent upon the delivery. The transfer of ownership in a contract to sell is dependent upon the fulfillment of a condition. And that condition, most of the time, is the full payment of the property being purchased. Okay? Sale, the non-payment is a resolutory condition. Sa contract to sell naman, sabi ko kanina, full payment is a positive suspensive condition. Hence, non-payment would not give rise to the obligation to transfer ownership. Kasi wala namang na-transfer na ownership. Pag hindi nakapagbayad, mananatili yung ownership sa seller. Pag nakapagbayad, matatransfer yung ownership kay buyer. Okay? So, kapag hindi nakapagbayad, yung buyer, wala namang maibabalik kay seller na ownership kasi in the first place, na kay seller pa rin yung ownership. Kasi hindi naman siya na-transfer by virtue of delivery because it's not a contract of sale but a contract to sell. Okay? I hope we're clear with that. Also, sa sale, since the owner is already the buyer kasi na-transfer na sa kanya yung ownership, upon delivery, the risk of loss is on the buyer. Sa contract to sell, even if there is delivery, the ownership is not yet transferred to the buyer. Therefore, the risk of loss is still on the owner who is the seller. Okay? Next, let's have this. Sale is title and not mode. Take note ha, that sale is will give rise only to your entitlement over the property, but it does not of itself creates ownership. Nakita nyo kanina sa Article 1458, magkahiwalay yung obligasyon ng seller. The first obligation is to transfer ownership and the second one is to deliver. So those two are distinct. Okay, so even if the property is being sold to you, but if it's not delivered to you, you don't own yet the property, but you have the personal right to own the property because according to the law, it's the delivery, okay, that is considered the mode to transfer ownership and possession to the buyer. When a contract of sale is perfected, the seller is merely obligated to transfer ownership and to deliver the property. Transfer of ownership is effected only upon delivery. Take note of that. Okay? Now, let's go to capacities of parties. Okay? So, bear with the discussion because it has to be a little fast because it's meant to be fast because it's already a review and also we have a lot of things to review pa. Okay? Capacities of parties. So, take note that all persons na may capacity may enter into a contract of sale. So, ang kailangan nyong alamin, pagdating sa capacity, sino yung mga incapacitated. So, pagdating sa incapacitated, we have basically three. Those who are absolutely incapacitated, relatively incapacitated, and those who have specific incapacities only or those who have special disqualifications. So, for absolute incapacity, we have minors, insane or demented persons, deaf mute who do not know how to write. Ang idadagdag, this is nasa oblicon nyo to, itong part na to, okay? Ang karagdagan natin sa absolutely incapacitated persons, itong mga civilly interdicted person, yung mga na-penalize, na masususpend yung kanilang civil rights. That's why they are called civilly interdicted persons. Usually, sila yung mga nakagawa ng crime at guilty sa mga crime, okay? And also judicially declared incompetence. So, take note that these persons are absolutely incapacitated, not allowed to enter into a contract of sale. Okay, but take note, we have a exceptions later on yung sa quad natin, necessities natin. Okay? Then ito yung mga judicially declared incompetence. Okay? You can just read it. You can just read it or i-post nyo na lang yung video. Okay? Para matandaan nyo. Okay? Next natin is relative incapacity. Okay, husband and wife. General rule kasi they cannot sell property to each other because under the family code of the Philippines, once na kinasal ang mag-asawa, nagiging as a rule iisa yung ownership nila. Yung pag-aari nung isa, magiging pag-aari na rin nung isa. Okay? Not unless there will be marriage settlement. Okay? As to the property. Or they are already declared to be judicially separated with regards to their property. So, once there is judicial separation or if there is a marriage settlement, take note ang marriage settlement dapat at the time of marriage. Hindi siya pwedeng gawin after yung ikasal. Okay? Yon. So, they cannot sell property to each other. Pero pag meron yung exception, they can. Okay? Kasi kanya-kanya naman yung property nila. Okay? Also, aliens, yung mga foreigners natin, they are disqualified from purchasing real property. Ang basis natin dito ay constitution, except if they will acquire it through succession. Trusteeship, okay? Kapag may in-entrust sa'yo na property, you cannot purchase it from the owner of the property. Agents, okay? General rule, agents cannot purchase or acquire property na pinahawak sa kanila or pina-administer sa kanila. Okay, except of course if the principal gives consent. Okay, now let's go to those who have special disqualifications. Okay, okay. Dito pala tayo nagsimula sa special disqualification sa agents. Okay? Next natin is guardian. Guardian cannot purchase property of person under his guardianship. Okay? Ang pinaka-common nito is yung magulang saka anak. Okay? But take note, no, hindi lang magulang ang pwedeng maging guardian ng isang bata pagdating sa property. Okay? Bakit hindi pwedeng bilhin or hindi pwedeng i-subject sa law on sale, ay sa contract of sale, ang property na subject sa contract of guardianship? It is because guardianship is a trust now of highest order, and the trustee cannot be allowed to have any inducement or neglect his ward's interest. Okay, next, executors or administrators. Ito yung sa mga ari-arian ng namatay. Okay, so executor kapag ikaw yung inatasang mag-execute ng last will and testament. Administrator kapag ikaw naman yung inatasan na mag-ayos ng hatian ng property kapag walang last will and testament. Yun lang pagkakaiba niyan. Pag may last will, executor ang tawag sa kanya. Pag walang last will, administrator. So, you cannot acquire or purchase property of the estate under your administration. Okay, next. Public officers and employees, they cannot acquire or purchase property of the state or any of its subdivisions, government-owned and controlled corporations or administrations, the administration of which was entrusted to them. Okay, so yon. Hindi nila pwedeng bilhin yung mga ari-arian ng gobyerno. Okay, both public officers as well as public employees. Next natin, lawyers. Okay, pag may kliyente sila, kunwari may nag-aagawan ng lupa, hindi nila pwedeng sabihin bilhin na lang nila yung lupa para wala nang magiging away. Okay, so they cannot acquire or purchase property or rights in litigation in which they take part by virtue of their professions. Why? Because lawyers may have undue influence over a client, and greed may get the better of the sentiments of loyalty and disinterestedness. Okay, take note that this is not allowed and it cannot be cured by ratification. Okay, we only have this kind of exceptions, okay, wherein an assignment to a lawyer by his client of an interest in the property does not violate Article 1491 of the Civil Code, where saka lang daw mapupunta yung property sa lawyer kapag meron ng judgment. At yung judgment ay final. Ibig sabihin natapos na yung kaso, dun lang mabibigyan ng part ng property yung lawyer. Pwedeng yun yung gagamiting pangbayad sa lawyer. Or if there is contingency fee arrangement, okay, so kunwari walang pambayad yung kliyente, so ang ginawa na lang ng lawyer, parang yung property, kapag makukuha yun at pag mananalo yung kliyente, yun na lang yung magiging pambayad sa lawyer. Okay? So, if that's the case, the interest of the lawyer will be annotated as claim on the property. Okay? Yun. Basta ang ending nito, hindi pwedeng i-stop yung kaso, i-shortcut yung kaso, at bibilhin na lang yung property or ibibigay na lang sa lawyer. Dapat tapusin muna. Okay? Justices, judges, prosecuting lawyers or yung fiscals natin, clerks and other officers and employees connected with the administration of justice. They cannot acquire also or purchase property or rights in litigation are levied upon on execution before the court within whose jurisdiction or territory they exercise their respective function. Kunwari si judge, inis na siya dun sa pinag-aagawang lupa nung dalawang partido na nasa korte niya. So sabi niya, para wag na kayong mag-away, perahin na natin, bilhin ko na. So that's not allowed. Okay? This is to prevent fraud and to surround their profession with prestige. Okay? Prohibition, take note, applies only to sales or assignments that is involved dun sa ongoing na kaso. Pag tapos na yung kaso, okay na. Okay? So let's go to the effects of this incapacity. Okay? To those that we have mentioned to be absolutely incapacitated, if both parties are incapacitated, the contract is unenforceable. If only one party is incapacitated, the contract is voidable, except if we're talking about necessaries. Okay, and there is a payment of a reasonable price. When we talk about necessary, kung maalala nyo, these are the things being purchased or sold that are classified to be indispensable for sustenance, dwelling, clothing, medical attendance, education, and transportation. Kunwari yung minor bumili ng lapis. So, general rule, hindi sana siya pwede kasi minor siya. But, the thing being purchased is a necessary. That's why it's valid. Okay? Relative incapacity naman, pag sale between spouses, it's technically void. Why? Okay? This is to protect third person who may have contracted with the spouse. Kunwari, mayroong creditor na nagpautang kay Mr. X na asawa ni Miss X. Nagpautang kay Mr. X na asawa ni Mrs. X. So, para maiiwas yung property na pwede sanang kunin nitong creditor kay Mr. X, binenta ni Mr. X yung property niya, yung exclusive property niya or conjugal property niya kay Mrs. X. So, that is not allowed. Okay? Because if that will be allowed, kawawa naman yung third person. Okay? That's why it's void. Also, it's void to avoid undue advantage by the dominant spouse over the weaker spouse. Baka mamaya sabihin nung isa na ibenta na sa kanya lahat yung property. Okay? Or to avoid circumvention of the prohibition against donation between spouses. Bawal rin kasing mag-donate, okay, ang mga mag-asawa sa kanilang asawa. Okay? Such prohibition shall likewise apply to common law spouses. Take note, kahit live-in partner, hindi pwedeng magbentahan ng property or mag-donate ng property. Okay? But take note, okay, but that if the property is already sold to a third person who relied on the title of his immediate seller, reconveyance to the seller's spouse is no longer available. Ang pinapangalagaan naman kasi dito is kapag may third person na buyer in good faith. 'Di ba? Always tawag nito, regardless kung gaano kamali yung naging acquisition, okay, if the third person who is the eventual buyer is a buyer in good faith, then papaboran siya ng batas. So maghahabulan na lang ng value ng property yung mga other parties. Okay? Hindi na siya babawiin from the purchaser in good faith at ibabalik doon sa spouse na agrabyado. Hindi ganon. Maghabulan na lang yung spouse. Okay? Next is specific incapacity. Okay? Contracts expressly prohibited by law are void and cannot be ratified. Neither can the right to set up the defense of illegality be waived. Okay? Pag void, hindi pwedeng i-ratify. You also have learned that on your contracts, right? Na kapag void, there's nothing to ratify. Voidable lang ang nira-ratify. Effects of incapacity. Sales entered into by guardians, administrators, and agents. Okay, yung kanina. In violation of Article 1491 may be ratified by means of and in the form of new contract when the cause of nullity has ceased to exist. Ratification is valid only from the date of execution of the new contract and does not retroact. However, take note, third sentence, those entered naman by public officers, employees, justices and judges, and lawyers are inexistent and void. Hatiin nyo ha, yung effect ng incapacity. Kapag yung incapacity, ang involved doon is guardian, administrators, and agents, private rights lang kasi ang affected. That's why, pwede siyang i-ratify. Voidable. But, if the sale is in violation of parties that are classified as public officers, employees, justices, and judges, okay, that is a public crime. That's why, okay, void siya. Take note of this, okay? Yung isa voidable, yung isa void. Okay? Next, let's go to price. Okay? Price signifies the sum stipulated as the equivalent of the thing sold and also every incident taken into consideration for the fixing of price put to the debit of the buyer and agreed to by him. Okay? Kasi di ba kaninang dinefine natin ang sales? Okay? Yung isang party, which is the buyer or the vendee, kailangan niya magbayad ng price certain. So, dito sa slide natin, makikita natin yung definition ng price. Ito yung in-stipulate daw ng party na equivalent nung thing na binili. Okay? Now, kailan natin masasabi na ang price ay meron, na ang price ay valid? Okay? Ito ang requisite natin, semore. First, it is certain or ascertainable at the time of perfection. When we talk about certain or ascertainable, meaning to say, it is already determined by the parties, or if not determined, it may be determined without entering into further contract. Anong pwede nating example sa ascertainable? Kunwari, I will buy tomorrow your shares of stocks. Magkano? Okay? Pwede bang yung value ng stocks tomorrow? So today, hindi natin siya na-determine. Hindi siya certain. But it is ascertainable because we can base it on the value of the stocks tomorrow without even agreeing on other kinds of contracts. Okay? It is ascertainable. It's not yet ascertained, but it is ascertainable. Okay? No need na mag-usap kasi meron naman ng value yung shares of stock bukas at a certain time. Okay? So, dapat ganon. Certain or ascertainable. Okay? In money or its equivalent, so dapat money or other equivalents of money like letters of credit. Okay? Diyan sa letter B, yung partly money and partly in another thing, yung na-discuss natin kanina regarding barter versus sale. Okay? Yung nasa B at C yon. And then take note that the price must be real and not simulated. When talk about real, may binayad talaga. Okay? Hindi yung pinalabas na sale pero wala naman palang binayad. Pag 'di ba minsan may ganun no, yung parang ibebenta ko kunwari yung lupa ko sa iyo ng 1 million, palalabasin natin na binenta ko sa iyo para hindi magalit yung iba, pero in fact wala ka namang binayad. So, it's not a contract of sale because there's no price. Okay? Is it a void contract? No, it will be another kind of contract. That will be already a contract of donation. Okay? When buyer has an intention to pay and the seller has an exception to receive the price. Okay? Ito na yung simulated. Okay? If the price is simulated, the sale is void, but act may be shown to have been a donation or some other act of contract. Okay? So, ito yung sinasabi ko kanina na donation. Okay? Hindi magiging void yung contract pero pwede siyang mag-fall into some other kind of contract. Hindi nga lang sale. Okay? An admission of non-payment of any centavo in exchange of a property in a contract of sale renders the sale void. Kasi nga, dapat may price na certain. At pag price certain, dapat the price must be real and not simulated. What if the price is false? Kunwari, sir, para makaiwas sa tax, ang nilagay lang natin, 200,000 ang value talaga ng property, 1 million, at ang binayad talaga ni buyer, 1 million. E di, ang price na nasa kontrata ay false. Okay, what's the effect of that? When the real consideration is not the price stated in the contract, the sale is void unless proved to be founded on another true and lawful price. Hindi siya magiging sale. Okay? Unless may iba, kunwari, nagbayad naman siya ng service, etc. Okay? How do we determine the price? Okay? So, it can be fixed by the parties. Fixing a price cannot be left to the discretion of one of the parties, but if the price fixed by one of the parties accepted by the other, then that's it. Ibig sabihin, pumayag siya. Okay? Determination may be left to the judgment of a third person. Okay? If the third person na pinili is unable to determine the price or unwilling to determine the price, then there's no price. Then the sale is inefficacious. Okay? Unless they will agree later on for a price. If the price determined by the third person is made in bad faith or by mistake, the courts may fix the price. If the third person is prevented from fixing the price by either the fault of the seller or buyer, then the innocent party may avail the remedies. Okay? Pwede bang i-refer ang price sa value ng ibang bagay? Yes, that's allowed. How about if the price is inadequate? Okay? Kunwari kulang. Okay, take note that under Article 1470, even if the price is inadequate, it does not affect the contract of sale. Kunwari, the value of the property is 1 million pero ang binayad lang 900,000. Konti lang naman. That can be a discount. That's why inadequacy of the price will not affect the contract of sale, the validity of the contract of sale. Unless na lang 100,000 versus 1 million. So invalid na yung sale kasi masyado nang malayo. hindi na siya commutative. It's not inadequate anymore. It's grossly inadequate. Okay? Ang pinatutungkulan lang dito sa provision natin na nasa slide is yung inadequate, hindi yung grossly inadequate. Okay? So the stipulation in a contract of sale which states that the consideration is 1 peso and other valuable considerations is not going to make the contract void. Okay? Gross inadequacy of price does not affect the contract of sale except that it may indicate a defect in consent. So magiging voidable siya. Okay? Exceptions, it may indicate a defect. O yun nga, sinasabi natin. Baka, not baka. It will be voidable, not valid anymore. Also, it may indicate that there is other kinds of contract like donation. Like kanina, nagbenta ng property worth 1 million, ang binayad lang 100,000. So that will be treated not as a sale but as a donation. Inadequacy would make the contract of sale rescissible where a contract was entered into by the guardian of a ward or a representative of an absentee without the court's approval and the owner suffers lesion by more than 1/2 of the value of the thing sold. Okay, relate this one on your defective contracts. Okay, yung listahan ng rescissible contracts natin. Okay? If there's no price agreed upon, then obviously the sale is inefficacious. But if the thing or part thereof has been delivered and appropriated by the buyer, na-deliver na, then magbayad na siya ng reasonable price. Okay? Anong ibig sabihin ng reasonable price? It's a case-to-case basis. It's a question of fact. The reasonableness of price may be determined on the basis of the business ang binili mo, so balance sheet, the book, titingin ka sa balance sheet, book value, etc. Pero kung mga typical lang na goods, kung ano yung SRP. Okay, take note that the manner of payment must be agreed upon kung cash, GCash, credit card, debit card, etc. Pag hindi magkasundo, it is tantamount to a failure to agree on the price. Take note of that. Next, earnest money versus option money. Okay? I think you're already familiar with this one, right? So, earnest money is paid in advance. That's why it's called earnest. Paid in advance of the purchase price agreed upon by the parties in a contract of sale given by the buyer to the seller to bind. So, para siyang down payment. So, kasama na siya dun sa bayad. Paunang bayad siya to bind. So, kapag nagbayad ka na ng earnest money, ibig sabihin, enforceable na yung sale. Okay? Kapag option money, parang reservation lang na ikaw yung ipa-priority. Okay? Yun lang. Let's go to subject. Valid subject matter. Okay? It must be licit. It must be existing. Or if not, it's capable of existing in the future. Okay? It is determinate or determinable. Dito na natin i-discuss yung konsepto ng determinate or determinable. Okay? The thing is licit when it's within the commerce of man. Pwedeng ibenta. Okay? So, hindi mo naman pwedeng ibenta yung tag nito, puso mo. Kasi, that's not allowed by the law. Okay? Or hindi mo pwedeng ibenta yung hangin. Kasi, it's not capable of being appropriated. Okay? When the right is not intransmissible, the right to vote during election, hindi mo yun pwedeng ibenta para ibang tao na lang ang magbo-vote on behalf of you. Okay? Take note that the following are properties that are not within the commerce of man, hence, not allowed to be subject to a contract of sale. Okay? Those belonging to the state or its political subdivisions intended for public use or public service, yung mga property ng gobyerno, hindi yan pwedeng maging subject ng contract of sale. Property of the church, dangerous drugs. Okay? Yung mga illicits. Now, let's go to this one. Future inheritance. Pwede mo na bang ibenta yung mamanahin mo kahit buhay pa yung magulang mo? Hindi. Okay? Kasi hindi mo pa yung property. Okay? The only time you will have the right over it is kung namatay na yung isa sa mga magulang mo because the right to succession are transmitted only from the moment of death of the decedent. Thus, one cannot sell or promise to sell what he expects to inherit from a living person. Kasi yung living person na yun, pwede pa naman niyang ibenta later on. Ang hindi niya lang pwedeng gawin, i-donate. Kasi pag donate, walang kapalit. Pero pag ibenta, hindi niya pwedeng gawin. Okay? Baliktad. Pag i-donate, hindi niya pwedeng gawin. Pero pag ibenta, pwede niyang gawin. Okay? Kasi sa kanya pa, habang buhay siya. The only time you will have a right over that property is when there is death already on the part of the decedent. Okay? Take note that when the subject matter is illicit, definitely the contract of sale is void. Okay? How about existing, future, or contingent? The goods which form the subject of a contract of sale may either be existing goods already owned and possessed by the seller, or goods that are to be manufactured, pwede yan, raised or acquired by the seller, mga future goods, yung mga aanihin sa susunod na anihan. Okay, yon pwede mo nang ibenta yon because those are future goods. Okay? Goods whose acquisition by the seller depends upon a contingency which may or may not happen. Things having potential existence may be the object of a contract of sale. Okay? Kasi very clear, yung batas natin, existing, future, or contingent ang pwedeng maging subject ng sale. Okay? Now, let's go to these two terms. Emptious pay. Ito na ba yun? Wala pa. Okay? Sale of mere hope. Sale of vain hope. Sale of mere hope, pwede. Parang kunwari, magbebenta ka ng raffle ticket. Sale of vain hope, hindi pwede. Magbebenta ka ng raffle ticket na hindi mo naman ira-raffle. Okay? Hindi pwede yun. Empture sperate versus emptious pay. Empture sperate, sale of future thing, subject to the condition that the thing must come into existence. So that if it does not come into existence, the sale will not be effective. Emptious pay, hope, yung binenta mo, parang raffle ticket. So, that's allowed. So, kahit hindi siya manalo, okay, it's not the guarantee of winning that you have sold, but it's the chance or the hope of winning that you have sold. That's why it's valid. Okay? Because hope is a present thing. In case of doubt, okay, hindi natin alam kung empture sperate or emptious pay, the presumption is in favor of empture sperate since it is more in keeping with the commutative character of the contract. Okay, yun ang magiging presumption natin. Now, let's go to this one. Okay, determinate or determinable. Okay, so a thing daw is determinate when it is particularly designated or physically segregated from all others of the same class. So parang specific siya in contrast with generic things. Okay? How about determinable? A thing is determinable naman daw when it is capable of being made determinate at the time of the contract was entered into without the necessity of a new or further agreement between the parties. For example, bibili ako ng 2 kilong bigas. So, hindi naman na natin iisa-isahin kung ano yung butil na bigas na ibibigay mo sa akin. Pwede naman na siyang sandukin dun sa lalagyanan. So, determinable na siya. Okay? Or kunwari, pabili ng 10 units of your manufactured chair. So, ima-manufacture pa lang siya or hindi ko siya pinili isa-isa pero pinili ko na yung design, ibibigay mo na lang or bibigyan mo na lang yung buyer ng 10 items of that design. So, it is determinable. So, it's going to be determinable kung hindi mo na kailangan ng further contract to enter in, to agree. Okay? So, we have here the 2 case. Okay? You can just read these 2 case, no? So as to help you understand the concept of determinate or determinable. Okay?